All right, before we jump into some employee training related things you can do in this off season, we're gonna talk about training videos. Before that, I wanna talk about a couple points that I forgot to mention regarding these emails and having these emails automated to go out at certain times during the customer lifecycle and working hard to get all that stuff drafted now. Why email? Got a couple questions already. Why email? Why can't it be text message or phone call? Well, it can be. It can be phone call. It can be text messaging. But email is, A, it's easier to automate through a service like Jobber or canned responses. And B, it's more professional than text messages. Email is the method of communication that a lot of your high-end clientele are going to prefer. So obviously, you can vary from email if these are text messages, whatever. That's all fine and dandy. But I prefer email, and I prefer when businesses communicate with me as a customer through email. So when we did this, I forgot to mention 3 amazing things that happened when we started really putting a lot of time and effort into sending these targeted emails at different times during the customer life cycle. Number 1, customers were ready for us more often. I was on time. Our trucks were on time. We were on schedule more often because our students are procrastinators. Our students previously weren't ready for us when we were arriving to pick up their storage. When we started sending these email reminders and these text message reminders, they started being ready for us more often. Our trucks were on time. Everything went smoother and better. Number 2, there was way less customer service volume, meaning we got less phone calls per customer the next year after we implemented this system, meaning it was people didn't have questions. People knew what was going to happen. They knew what to expect, and they didn't have questions about the service and who was going to show up, how it was all going to work. They understood it, and it happened without them calling us and without them emailing us. Saved us money, saved us time, saved us stress. Number 3, customer reviews. We were able to send an automated email after the service that said, hey, look, if you really enjoyed this, here's your invoice. But if you really enjoy this, you can get $5 off your invoice by giving us a 5-star or giving us an honest review on Google or Yelp. And I know it's a fine line between compensating and giving somebody a discount for a review. So you got to read the updated rules on Google and Yelp if you're allowed to do those things. But it worked really, really well for us, for people to take a photo of our movers when we were on the way, upload the photo to Google, to Yelp. It was really awesome. So those 3 are kind of fringe benefits that'll happen if you spend some time working on this stuff. Okay, now let's dive into talking about employees. It's February. You're not that busy. You might not even be working at all if you're in a lawn care, power washing, whatever type of business. And this is something that you can do right now that'll help you and make things a lot easier during the busy season. Employees make bad decisions. Okay, people make bad decisions. If you followed around one of your employees all day and you weren't allowed to say anything to them, or if you were listening to one of your customer service reps talk on the phone all day and you weren't allowed to say anything to them, I bet there'd be many, many times where you'd be like, oh no, that's not the right thing to say. Or, oh, don't do that. Or, oh, don't tell the customer that. It just happens a ton. It happens in every area of life. Nobody's going to fully do everything exactly like you are going to do. So what you need to try to do is automate and standardize some systems here so that our employees can do the job well, the customer's happy, and your business is profitable. So I want to make a training video library. And this is some things that we did in the off season that helped us a ton. We were about to scale up and train 300 part-time employees to work for us during the busy season. And before that, we had a training camp where they all came to our manager's house, and we had a box truck there with some things, and basically everybody watched as we gave a presentation, or one of our employees gave a presentation on how to do things. All right, that was great, except there were so many moving parts, and the quality of the training was poor. People couldn't study it, people didn't learn it, people didn't listen, and it just overall was a huge pain in the butt. So what we decided to do was do that presentation on video. Okay, whether I'm talking like I am to you if you're watching this on YouTube, whether I'm talking into a camera or I'm out doing the actual job, going through the steps of the job. So nowadays, Storage Squad has a 45-minute training video that goes over every aspect of the job that you need to learn, that you need to do. What we do is when a new employee is getting onboarded, instead of walking around the office and pointing and showing and doing training, if you're a general home service business saying, okay, just follow along, let's do some training. You can do that in the early days. But a better way is, okay, you're onboarded. Here is a training video for you to watch and study. After this training video, you're going to take a test. I'm going to quiz you on it. It's going to be a phone quiz at first. It can be a Google form quiz. It can be, we've gone as far as actually putting some simulations into the app that we had built that kind of tests the new employee on doing a lot of the things that we're going to be doing. It works out amazingly, and it's all automated. So we don't have to worry about having a improper training. We don't have to worry about saying the wrong things. We don't have to worry about missing something. We don't have to worry about stuttering. We don't have to worry about the person maybe not paying attention for a few minutes and that information is gone. We can literally send them an unlisted YouTube video. As soon as they're getting onboarded, they can watch this video and learn everything about how to do the job. It's amazing. So for some industries, you can actually buy these training courses to send your employees through that you don't have to create. Like if you're a lawn care landscaping company, these training courses are already online that you can send your employees through before they even come to you. So they have a really, really good idea of what to do, how to interact with customers, everything like that. So this is going to be really, really hard. You're going to need to actually create and standardize systems of operations before you make these videos. You're going to think, okay, I'll just go in, I'm going to record a training video, my employees are going to understand what's going on, everything is going to be awesome. It's not that simple. You're going to start recording and you're like, ooh, how do we want to standardize this? What's going to be the standard operating procedure when this happens? If this happens, then that happens. If that happens, then this happens. What happens? You got to figure out all that stuff. You got to write it out. So what I recommend doing is actually writing out a script. You're going to write out a 1,000-word script, and that's going to become a 5,000-word script, and you're going to read that while you're talking into a camera or while you're showing pictures of doing the things in the background or actually showing videos doing the things in the background. Now, one tip, I talk about simplifying the job a ton here, but this is the perfect example of when it's necessary to simplify a job. And I'm going to give you the example that I've given many times before of my employees. When I say simplify the job, I mean take anything off the plate of that employee that you possibly can. What do I mean by that? When we had, in the early days, we had our truck drivers out working to pick up the storage for the storage business. And they had a clipboard, and on the back of the clipboard, there was 23 things that they needed to remember to do to service a customer. It was, driving the truck. It was creating the invoicing. It was sizing the items. It was doing customer service. It was making the schedule. 23 things. And what happened was our training processes were horrible. It took employees forever to learn how to do the job. When they quit and when we had turnover, it was horrible because only a small percentage of our employees were really good at doing all these things, and it ended up just being a mess. We had employees making a ton of mistakes. They were writing invoices incorrectly. They were doing customer service incorrectly. They were making promises we couldn't deliver on schedules and on coming back to pick up this or that. It was really, really bad. Then we simplified the heck out of it. And we're like, what can we take off the plate of these drivers so that they can specialize in just doing 5 things really well? And we can train them on doing those things in a training video so that they know exactly what to do and it's standardized. So we took customer service off their plate. The training video opened with, if a customer asks you a question, hand them this card and direct them to this phone number to call a trained customer service specialist, because don't make up answers. Don't make promises you can't deliver on. Always say, I don't know. If you have scheduling questions, if you have this or that, I don't know. Here is a number to call. So we took the customer service off the plate. We took the scheduling off the plate so that one person on one computer in one area made the schedules everywhere, so that instead of 40 people needing to learn how to make schedules, we only need to train a couple people to make schedules. And it goes on and on and on. So our employees ended up getting way better. Our training was simplified. The training video was simplified. The quiz afterwards was simplified. Our employees were better. We were on time more often. Our customers were happier. And we were able to build a scalable business when we did that. And it all started with building a training video library on YouTube, unlisted videos, or paying for customer training, employee training videos from another entity. There's a lot of them online now. You can send your employees through Moving Academy, or I don't know if that's the name of it, but I'm sure there's online courses that you can send your employees through while they're getting onboarded. It can make your life way easier. And this is the stuff you can do now in February, so that in May, June, July, when you're running around, you have a lot less training to do for new employees, and you have a clear idea, this is going to be a great thought exercise for you as a business owner to standardize your operations. Because there's going to be a lot of questions that you don't have the answer to. Like I said, you're going to need to figure it out, work through it. It's going to be awesome. So do that, and it'll be a game changer for you. I hope it really helps you figure this out. And early on, we kind of thought that we had a customer problem. We were doing all kinds of marketing. We ended up having an employee problem. We ended up really struggling to service all the customers that came. You might deal with that as well. And this is one of the ways that you can provide a really, really good service, get employees onboarded who understand your system and know what's going on as soon as they start working for you. It can be a great thing. So as always, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.